Capitulito más de Greedfall. Ya pudimos aliviar los dolores de nuestro primo Constantine. Ya se siente un poco mejor, así que ya nos podemos quitar un poco ese peso encima. E ir a buscar directamente la cura o a ver qué otra misión tenemos por aquí. Con Greedfall. Y pues, antes de irnos a buscar nuestros orígenes con la capitana, pues vamos a ver qué tal. Que no estoy mal, si no estoy mal, creo que la misión se llama algo así como los pecados del padre Petrus, algo así. Misión así. Esa es a la que vamos y vamos a pedirle información al almirante Cabral, no sin antes ver cómo está nuestro primo. Así que comenzamos.
Greetings, Katasak.
Teer Fradee, what can I do for you?
How is my cousin doing?
He's filled with dread as death approaches. Forgive him his mood swings. He's such a young boy, and he had so much desire to live. Thanks to my treatment, he suffers less. But his disease is getting worse, and I don't know what to do. It would take a power far superior to mine to break the grasp of this evil.
Now that you've seen my cousin, what are your thoughts on the Malachor?
It is a terrible disease. I have never seen one like it. It slowly gnaws through the people it afflicts. Their eyes and legs gradually die because of the black blood. And the pain it induces is atrocious. My potions are barely enough to calm your cousin. But if you're asking if I know how to cure it, I have no idea. It's a disease coming from a world that isn't ours, and which I'm not familiar with.
Do you like it in New Serene?
No. Your village has smothered the earth. The smell of the woods has gone, and the singing of the birds is filled with anguish. I can barely feel my bond here. But don't worry. I will not leave before doing everything in my power to save your cousin.
I must go.
Wa awalam seg.
My dear cousin! Come closer and tell me what brings you... Constantine! Is it true? Are you in great pain? This sickness is horrible, believe me. Now I understand what your mother went through. But you have not come to hear my complaints. Speak. It will give me something else to ponder.
Allow me to present Afra, an emissary of the Bridge Alliance. She is an eminent naturalist who studies local flora in an effort to find a remedy.
Your Excellency, it is a great honor.
You were part of Governor Buren's lost expedition, if I've understood correctly, were you not?
Yes, and our research would have borne fruit if it hadn't been so brutally interrupted.
I can only imagine. Nevertheless, you are most welcome. Your great learning will certainly prove useful. I implore you, my dear cousin. Do continue. We are eager to hear your news.
Any news of your parents?
No. With the time it takes to travel to the continent, it's not surprising. But I don't miss them. My father's next letter will certainly be full of his usual disdain. As for my mother, you know her. She's probably too busy planning her next assassination to have noticed my absence.
Are you liking your new role as a governor? How does it feel?
Honestly, once the thrill of the first few days is over, it's boring. I receive delegations from everywhere. They arrive with their arms full of presents to make me sign some agreements. Most of them take me for a fool, who will be easily convinced by some silver trinket. I would love to simply brush them all off and work on some real projects. I have so many ideas to make this city, this island, truly amazing.
How are relations with our allies?
Oh, they bow and scrape. and they regularly assure me of their unwavering friendship, so that they can better try to convince me to embrace their point of view, and only theirs. Teleme wants to convert me, and the Alliance assures me that only they will allow us to benefit from progress. They're a bunch of old foxes, but they take me for a young, brainless rabbit. The only thing they really want is to increase their influence on this island. With our help.
I'm going to leave now. Goodbye, Constantine.
Look out for yourself.
Come closer, good people. Think you're in. Are your boots through?
Desarde, what can I do for you?
I have come to talk to you about a personal matter.
After what I revealed to you, I was sure you would come back to find me. What would you like to know?
You told me that I was born on one of your ships. Of an islander captured on the island.
We'd like to know about this woman's origins.
I'm afraid I can't help you. I did not take part in those expeditions. And our old archives are far from here.
Is there no one on Teer Fradee who can help us? Please.
Very well. I do know an old captain who could perhaps help you out.
Where can he be found?
His ship is moored in the port of Hikmet, if I'm not mistaken. His name is Captain Lissandro.
Thank you for your help, Admiral.
Desarde?
Yes, Admiral?
Don't get too caught up in the past. That one in particular. Nothing good will come of it.
Whether or not we choose to get caught up in it, Admiral, the past always catches up with us. Sadly, I'm paying the price of this. Enlightened that a captain who took part in these expeditions is right here on the island.
It is indeed a stroke of luck. I hope he remembers my mother.
Do not worry. If his memory fails him, he may have kept his diary from that time.
Hello there. My name is Desarde. I'm the legate of the merchant congregation.
I am Captain Lissandro. Pleased to meet you. I don't believe I've had the pleasure before. Yet your face seems familiar. How odd. Well, what can I do for you?
Do you know this port well?
Oh, I know it all right. I've been mooring my ship here for over 15 years. It's a safe harbor. Well protected from the winds and away from the reefs.
And before that?
Before? I don't really know what you mean. Before, there was nothing but the coast itself, I imagine.
Did you know the island before all the colonists arrived?
Yes. Now that's going back a bit. And it isn't a topic for somebody who isn't one of our own.
So tell me what it was like when the Alliance first began to settle here.
It was still wild, dangerous, and very beautiful. But all that has changed now.
Did you see the city being built?
Almost before my very eyes. I saw it grow as fast as you're breathing right now. But it was barely more than a port and a couple of huts surrounded by forest in the beginning. Then the trees began to come down, and the houses began to sprout up. It happened at a crazy pace, but I'm not sure that many good things came of all that change.
Admiral Cabral advised me to speak to you about a matter of some concern to me.
The Admiral? Coming from a legate, I should have expected that. So?
You are the only one on this island that can help me.
Really? Oh, I think I understand. That's why your face looked familiar. The congregation is good at keeping its secrets, isn't it? This story is not a new one.
25 years. 25 years since the Nauts brought a woman who was captured on this island to Serene.
I remember. And yet it wasn't the first time. But on that occasion, a child was born.
So you can understand why we'd like to learn where this captive came from.
Yes, yes. I have seen more than a few Nauts looking for their parents. But what have you got to do with all this?
I met that woman in Serene. I got to know her well.
Listen, it's not that I don't want to help you, but my memory is no longer what it was. I wasn't the captain at the time. I wasn't the one who decided where we moored the ship. So I don't see how I can help you find out where this woman came from.
From one captain to another, if you would allow me.
Captain Vasco? I'm listening.
You said it yourself. A child was born at that particular time. A seaborn. And we always help one of our own.
Very well. I need to look in my old logbooks. I'm sure I'll find something. Wait for me here. I'll be an hour at the most. Here it is. I found my old logbook. There's a passage in it that would probably interest you. Your mother came from a village on the plains in the southeast of the island. I'm talking about a place where the bones of the whale are visible from the coast. I believe the natives call it Vignamri.
Thank you for this information, Captain.
It's nothing. I'm getting sentimental in my old age. Good luck to you.
So here you are on the verge of discovering your mother's village, of finding your own people. How do you feel?
I don't really know. I'm a little lost, I suppose. All of this is so new to me.
I understand. Mrs. de Sade was loving. She raised you with tenderness. And today you learn she is not your real mother. I'm sorry.
the enlightened protect me in this battle. May the shadow engulf our enemies.
It's not possible just now.
To what do I owe the pleasure of your visit?
I recently found out that my mother came from your village.
Your mother was from Vignamri. Now I understand why your face seems so familiar to me.
Indeed. She was captured before my birth and sent to the continent.
She was called Arelwyn. Did you know her?
Of course. Everyone here remembers her kidnapping.
Could you tell me more about that?
I was not the head of the clan back then. It was a very long time ago. But I remember the village Denegad. Kidnapped by the people of the sea. All our warriors set off to her rescue. But it was all in vain. Most of them died. Including the one she loved. It was a dark day, in which our village lost its knowledge and strength in one blow.
So my father died too. Do you know if any members of my family are still alive?
Yes. Slan, your mother's sister. She then became our Donegad. She was never able to match her sister's talent. Too much knowledge had been lost. Relwyn was a renowned healer across all of Teer Fradee. Taking her place was not an easy task.
It's not surprising that she was of interest to the congregation. They probably hoped she could help them find a cure for the Malachor. But all alone, far from the island. She was just a young, frightened woman who had lost all her powers.
Do you know where I can find my aunt?
You could try her house, but she's rarely there. She is an elderly woman now, and very much enjoys her own company. She doesn't speak much to me. But others here can probably tell you where to find her.
Thank you, Ulan.
Anything else?
Nothing. I must go. He seems quite friendly compared to the others we've run into.
A bit too friendly, if you ask me. A little too concerned with pleasing the settlers.
And you think that's a bad thing?
He reminds me of myself when I was younger. And that's not a compliment. My fear is that he serves his own ambition. And this is often done at the expense of others. There's no one here. Let's go and ask the inhabitants of the village if they know where to find her.
The islanders protect their Donegada. I don't know if they'll speak to some Renaigse.
Don't forget, you are one of them after all.
Hello.
Renaigse. Do you need help, Renaigse?
Actually, yes. I'm looking for the village Donegad.
Oh. And what do you want from her?
Ulan told me that she could help me to find someone.
Ulan must have wanted to play a dirty trick on you. There's no love lost between Ulan and the Donegad. She says that he loves the people from your island too much. But Ulan saved our village. Anyway, if you want to find her, try heading towards the western plains. I am not sure if she is there right now, but she likes going for walks there.
I'm extremely grateful.
There's a woman over there, surrounded by animals. It looks like she may be in danger.
Let's go and help.
May the enlightened protect you in this battle.
Potion if you want.
How do you feel?
Well, thank you for stepping in. I don't understand what has happened. Usually these animals accept me. Something must have frightened them.
We are glad we arrived at the right time. We would have been very upset if something had happened to you.
Excuse me, but are you Slan, the Donegad of Vignamri?
Yes, that's me. Were you looking for me?
Yes, we were. If you would allow us, we'd like to accompany you and tell our story along the way.
Very well. I will walk by your side.
This is the story we have pieced together.
I just can't believe it. Yet, if I think about it, your face reminds me of hers.
My mother, or rather, the woman who raised me, gave me this necklace.
Relwyn gave it to me, to give to her child, and I passed it on to Mrs. de Sade.
It looks familiar. Your father had given it to your mother when they bound. It's good that you are wearing it today. My poor beloved Relwyn, who died far away from us all, and divorced Teersay. I still miss her so much.
She wanted me to help her die. But I was unable to do such a thing. Someone would have figured it out. I would have been sent back to Ptolemy, and I would have lost everything. So I watched her suffer. And one day she died.
Petrus, I cannot hold it against you for letting her live.
No, you don't understand. I loved her. I loved her, and I didn't even have the strength to end her suffering. She's the only woman I've ever loved.
I never would have guessed.
Everyone loved Relwyn. She was marvelous. You cannot blame yourself, man of the light. What's more, you brought me her child. For that alone, she would forgive you if she were among us. All is well now. The child of Teer Fradee has returned home, and with him, the spirit of his mother. You are home, my Magum. Welcome.
Petrus, I wanted to thank you.
Thank me? Despite everything you know about me?
You may have been a bit cowardly in the past, to the point of letting the woman you loved suffer. You were manipulative, and you lied to everyone, including yourself. But thanks to what you've told me, I've been able to find my family and my origins. And for that, I thank you.
My child, what you're saying touches me more than you can imagine. At least I've done something good for once in my deceitful life. For you and for her. I hope the Enlightened will remember this when I stand before him.
us to you.
What's happening here, soldier?
These islanders want to enter a plot of land that belongs to the congregation.
They are denying us access to the glade.
We must heal it. Otherwise, this land will die.
I am sorry, but we cannot let you enter this area.
But we only want to plant some new trees. Bring life back.
These people are fanatics, Your Excellency. Several woodcutters died last night, and I'm willing to bet that these savages had a hand in it.
You are killing the earth, so it kills you in return. All of you are cursed.
Shut it, you savage!
De Sardet, I'm the legate of the merchant congregation on this island. I came to shed light on this affair. You said that some woodcutters died.
Aye, they fell sick and died a few hours later. But the camp doctor will be able to tell you more about it. You'll find him in the barracks right here.
Thank you, soldier. I'll go see him.
Please, Your Excellency, you may come in. Do not force us to use our weapons.
We do not want to shed blood. We want to give life back to the air.
Do you not understand that these woods are sacred?
Hello, Doctor. I am the legate of the congregation. I was told about the disputes caused by this camp, and a soldier told me that several woodcutters died recently.
Yes. They got sick yesterday afternoon, and a few hours later they were dead. I couldn't do anything except watch them writhing in pain. None of my remedies worked. If seeing corpses doesn't bother you, you can come and see the bodies. They're here. I hope that whatever killed them is not contagious.
These poor woodcutters look like they've suffered. This one has a swollen tongue. Blood at the corner of the mouth. There are some peculiar red patches on the bodies. His eyes are bloodshot. This man choked to death. A strong smell of ammonia. The entrails must have been perforated.
The appearance of these bodies and the smell emanating from their mouths leaves me in no doubt. They were poisoned. That this doctor could have believed that this was simply an illness is beyond me.
I can't see anything else of interest.
So, what do you think? Do you recognize their disease?
They didn't die of disease. They were poisoned. There's no doubt about it.
You're probably right. But I've heard these savages talking so much about curses. so I thought it must be a mysterious disease, rather than seeing what was before my eyes. But how could these 3 men be poisoned?
I'm not sure. Do their symptoms not point to anything?
No. I've never seen such a deadly poison with these symptoms.
Have you noticed anyone unusual here?
Unusual? No.
Did they drink anything in particular?
They like to drink their fills in the evening. Life is dreary here. But if the poison was in the alcohol, I'd also be on the pile of corpses.
What did they eat yesterday? Did they eat any mushrooms?
No, we avoid that kind of thing. We don't know enough about the region's plant life. The congregation provides us with dry produce, otherwise we eat game. Yesterday they butchered a beast brought by the hunters.
Hunters?
Natives who bring us game regularly in exchange for knickknacks. But they've been restocking us for months. I struggle to believe that they're involved.
Well, we'll see what they have to say. Where can I find them?
They usually hunt on the edge of the wood that leads to this camp.
This is our prey, Renaigse. How can we earn our reward if you hunt our prey?
We only defended ourselves. These beasts attacked us. But take them. We do not intend to eat them.
Thank you. But what are you doing here, Renaigse, if you're not here to hunt?
We were looking for you.
Us? What do you want from us?
3 woodcutters were poisoned yesterday after eating what you brought them.
Poisoned? I swear we are not responsible for this.
Listen, all the clues lead to you, but it may simply have been an accident. How about you tell me exactly what happened?
It wasn't really an accident, but we did not want to kill them either.
Then tell me how it happened.
We did not decide to do this. We were trading beautiful things with the camp. But the elder said that we would be traitors to our clan if we let the woodcutters cut down all the trees.
Which elder?
One of the old men from Vigigidor, our village. He is very angry because we cannot heal the glade. He gave us the meat of an Andrig killed by a venomous Dosentats. Its flesh is perfectly edible when prepared with certain berries, but without them, eating it would be lethal. And since the Renaigse invaded our forest, these berries are nowhere to be found. He wanted it to be a lesson for them, so that they may understand that their destruction brings death.
I will not hold you responsible, but from now on you will no longer bring meat to this camp. You are the instruments of a hateful old man's vengeance, and I'm under the impression that there will be even more deaths if I do not get to the root of this problem.
The Vegigido elder thought it best to take vengeance into his own hands. I understand his anger, but Dunkus would not approve of this. He would say that bloodshed only leads to more bloodshed, and he wouldn't be wrong.
This whole thing could turn into an open war. We cannot let that happen. Sir de Corsillon will be able to give some advice on how to solve this property conflict, without violence. Sir de Corsillon.
De Sade, my young student, what can I do for you?
What do you know about Lady Morange?
Laurine de Morange is a brilliant woman. The work that she has accomplished here is remarkable.
In that case, why did the prince strip her of her governor status?
For political reasons, obviously. Allowing someone so brilliant to govern a distant city for too long is not without risks. She may eventually have whims of independence. What's more, the prince was looking for a position where your cousin could learn his responsibilities. This governor position seemed ideal.
What can you tell me about the congregation's status on the island?
Well, thanks to Lady Morange's excellent work, our situation is rather comfortable. Our young city is expanding, new villages and cultivations are starting to emerge, and unlike our neighbors, we have managed to develop rather positive relations with the natives. I hope that our new governor will continue in this direction.
Do you have any news from my uncle?
Don't forget how long it took us to reach this shore. I don't think we'll receive any mail from the prince for some weeks, but I am certain that he would be very satisfied with your work here. Just like I am.
Did you know that the congregation have already tried to colonize this island in the past?
Ah, yes. I learned about it in some old archives, but the prince made me swear to keep it a secret.
And I suppose that you also knew that it's where I was born?
No, that part I guessed once I arrived here. But I knew that you were not the child of Madame de Sade. I knew her husband, you see, and despite what you may have been told, you do not look like him. The portraits you saw had been modified to make it seem like you did. I'm sorry. I imagine that uncovering such a lie must have hurt you terribly. But you can be certain of one thing. Your mother loved you dearly.
But why? Why hide the truth from me for all this time?
I don't know. The prince has his own reasons, and he's the one you should be asking. As for your mother, I believe she eventually started believing her own lie.
The mission you entrusted me with has made great progress.
Very well. Let's see. Good. You have traveled great distances, and the Terra Incognita will soon be but a distant memory. Keep doing what you're doing, de Sade. Can your old professor still prove himself useful?
I found no traces of Professor Seraphedin yet.
That's most regrettable. But keep looking for him, will you? You never know. Can your old professor still prove himself useful?
I have come to find you because I received a complaint from the natives of the village of Vigigador. They want to be able to access a clearing, exploited by our woodcutters, to heal it. To reforest it, I assume. But our men there say that it belongs to them, and are refusing to let the natives enter it. The site was supposedly ceded to them several months ago, but tensions are running high and some men have lost their lives. If we don't intervene, we're heading for a real confrontation.
It is very regrettable, and I approve of your desire to appease this conflict. According to what you have told me, if ever there was a contract, it must have been signed under our former governor. You should go to the archives and verify this. Then go and talk to Lady Laurine de Morange. And of course, I'll be delighted to help you once things have been clarified.
Thank you, Professor. Once more, you've been of great help.
Can your old professor still prove himself useful?
Looking forward to seeing you again, Sir de Corsilio.
day, dear sir. Happy to see you again in such fine health. How can I be of service?
I need you to enlighten me about the property deed of a glade near Vigigador. The natives want to access this place, which according to them is sacred, and which they would like to heal. But some of our men there are using this deed to deny them access to the area. Tensions are running high, and some people have died.
Yes, there was a time when we enacted a lot of contracts. Do you have the document with you?
Yes, here it is.
This cession agreement is only signed with a cross on the native side. Well, writing is foreign to them, as is the notion of land ownership. For them, the earth only belongs to itself.
If they did not possess these lands, how did they cede them?
I doubt they knew what this agreement represented, to be honest.
In that case, why make them sign it?
When we arrived on the island, we had to ensure our access to certain commodities. We also had to make sure that we had legal ownership of the lands we were occupying. The natives dreamed of possessing some baubles that they didn't know how to craft. It was easy to make them sign agreements that they didn't understand by giving them some. I was a stranger to their philosophy then. I only thought about my city, and I regret it.
I'm sure we can fix this mistake.
I hope so, Your Excellency. Come, let's find Sir de Corsilion. Can I help you with any other matter?
What can you tell me about New Serene?
It's a new city whose construction began not long ago. When I arrived 5 years ago, there was just a port, a fence, and some huts here. The businesses, the barracks of the guard, the palace, and all of the houses sort of sprung up from the ground. To see how impressive it is today, even if it is still far from its majestic mother, is incredible. Of course, with such expanse, all kinds of bandits, drunkards, and other lowlife have arrived. But I'm very proud of it, in spite of everything. I hope that your cousin continues this work.
What do you know about this island?
Much less than I would like. The land is still wild and extremely rich. Its soils are full of minerals, some of which are unknown to us. With regard to the flora and fauna, you've probably seen how different the creatures and plants are here. The islanders protect their land fiercely, and we cannot begrudge them that. When you see what we have done with our own, well, such a source of richness attracts greed.
You seem interested in the islanders.
As a matter of fact, I find their culture fascinating, but I can't say I know much about them. They are quite secretive and protect their cult and traditions from the curiosity of strangers. I know that their sages, they call them Donegada, are the guardians of their rituals as well as of the island. They have very strong links with nature and the creatures that inhabit it. They're also good healers. I could talk about them for hours, but you will learn more from the islanders themselves.
What can you tell me about the relations we have with other nations?
We play a difficult role, caught between these two enemy nations who are nonetheless our allies. The smallest action could tip the balance and draw us into their conflict. If I may offer some advice, be very careful. We do not want a war to break out here.
Did you know that the congregation already tried to colonize this island more than a century ago?
No, I did not. But I suspected as much. Seeing the ruins got me thinking. If I understand correctly, you've already found proof of this and you're not happy about it.
I discovered that I am originally from the island.
And that had been hidden from you. I'm really sorry, but I assure you that I was not aware. You should be asking the Prince for answers to these questions.
My lady, I have to go. Goodbye.
Sir de Corsilion, it's always a pleasure.
Madame, I expect you've come to see me about this regrettable problem concerning a clearing, which my student told me about.
Indeed. And I think I may have a solution that will allow us to solve this conflict peacefully.
I'm listening.
I must admit that I established this at a time when the culture and the mentality of the natives was foreign to me. The clan of this village was rather open to our presence. They welcomed us with benevolence. For this reason, I think we should allow them access to these lands. In doing so, we would appease the tensions, and we would also retain ownership of the wood. We would even benefit from such an agreement if the natives reforest this area. Then we could exploit it for a longer period of time.
I find this decision perfectly viable, and I approve, but several men were killed, and their comrades will seek vengeance if the person or persons responsible do not pay for their crimes.
I am convinced that Dunkus, the chief of this clan, never approved such an action.
I understand, but I will only write a decree allowing people to go to this clearing, provided the murderer is delivered to us.
Thank you, Master. I will inform Dunkus of your decision.
Come closer, good people. The cure is one. You'll find all you need in our...
Y bueno, supongo que lo vamos dejando por aquí. Mañana resolveremos el asunto con los hijos de Teer Fradee y la situación con el claro para que puedan resolver la situación de la reforestación, y eso se queda por aquí hasta el momento. Eso ha sido todo por ahora y hasta la próxima.